Hey everybody, welcome to the Queens Lair Christian Talk Show. Today's episode is seeing value in our elders. Where has the love gone? I don't know what it is, but it seems like nowadays there is no respect for our seniors, for our more seasoned saints or our more seasoned people. So we want to have a conversation about where has the love gone? Why don't we respect our elders, some of our young people, the way we used to? And how can we get back to that place? So we have some beautiful queens here with us today. We're going to start on this side. Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is LaDonna Shaw-Wragg, and I am a business owner of Abundantly Blessed Home Care here in Philadelphia.
All right. Hi, LaDonna.
Hi, Kellie. Thanks for
And
having me.
come on over here. And what is your name and what do you do?
And my name is Minister Latanya Smith, and I am a publisher and also a minister, and that's pretty much it right now.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you for that. LaTanya is also one of our sponsors, and so is LaDonna.
Yes.
So let me ask you, who are you? What is your name?
Hi, Kellie. Thank you. I'm Theresa Thornton, and I have a small business as well. And we encourage family caregivers. So we're all about that.
So I thank you all for joining us today. The first thing that I want to try to get into is, the cause. What do you think is the cause of the loss of respect in our community nowadays? What do you think is the reason behind, or is there a reason behind? What do you think?
I think really it comes from people not having respect for themselves, truly. And in that, they feel like they don't have anyone else to look up to, or anyone to look to regain that respect for themselves. That's what I think personally.
Yeah.
Because out of that comes all of the negativity and not knowing how to respect anyone else.
Yeah.
That's really how I feel.
What do you think, Minister?
I'm
LaTanya?
thinking that priorities are not in order. I know some of the youth, even watching TV, even on Facebook, unfortunately, they are into the world. They're into different things. They're into Facebook or electronics and things like that. That's a priority for them for right now.
Right.
But taking care of someone else, that's just so in the back burner right now.
Yeah.
So it's all about me and let me do what I need to do and what I want to do at the moment.
Yeah. And what about you, LaDonna?
I believe it's not implemented. It's not taught. And I believe people resemble what they see.
Yeah.
It's just not it's not a priority. It's not in the home anymore. We talk about it, but we're not all about it.
Right.
And I just believe us as we get older, we have to implement these things even more. Even in our frustrations with our own parents, we have to be mindful that our children are watching.
Yeah.
And that's what they glean from.
And I think you said something key. You said it's not taught anymore. It's not being taught. And it's unfortunate because when you think about it, a lot of our mothers are younger now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And so since they're a lot younger, they don't see things the way that you do. When you get a little bit older and a little bit more mature, you have a little bit more understanding, you function and operate a little bit differently. But when you're younger, you don't understand what the older people are saying because it's like they don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
So they can't teach what they don't know themselves. And I think that's where there's a disconnect. And I understand that a lot of times, not all of our seniors are right.
Right.
Sometimes they grow up and they're doing some things that are way off the wall, and you're sitting there like, okay, well, that doesn't look like something that I want to do. But does that mean we still respect them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Why? If you have a senior or someone who is doing something that you know is wrong, that might even give you bad advice, how do you still respect them and still make sure that you not engage in what the activities are that they might be doing that's wrong?
If I may, I know when I was taking care of my dad, there were some things that I did not agree with, and I would let him know. And I let him know, and I'm like, Dad, I don't think that's the right thing to do, but let's try to work on it differently. Like, this is the right way I think you should do. But I had to present it to him and share it with him with a loving heart, with understanding, because I recognized my dad at the time was, he was up in his high 70s, if you will, and there he was set in his ways.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
He was set in his ways, and I embraced it, but Dad is look at it in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree, and with that, my mother used to say, whenever I needed to do something that I didn't necessarily feel comfortable with or didn't agree with, she'd always paraphrase Matthew 25:40. Do it as unto the Lord. So keeping that in mind, you got to refocus on what the task is and think about actually doing this as if you were doing it for the Lord God himself.
Right.
And that will change the attitude completely.
Yeah. I think there's also a little bit of a disconnect because a lot, like you said, a lot of our older people, our seniors, our elders, they're stuck in their ways. And they have a certain expectation for what they want things to do or how they want things to go. And when you don't meet that expectation, what do? They say, oh, she don't listen, I'm not dealing with her. And then you have the younger people who's like, well, you don't understand me. So when you have that divide, how can we get to a place where you understand that some of the seniors might be set in their ways, respect them, but still we need to have the elders also accept some of the young people's innovative ideas, some of their creativity, allow them to make their mistakes. How do we get, as some of our elders, how do we get them to understand that it's okay to allow them to fall? It's hard. You know what I mean? So what do you think is a good way? And one of the things that I like is the Bible when it talks about Laban and Jacob. So we know Laban was just crooked. He did Jacob wrong, okay?
Yes, he did.
But he was his elder.
and
so how
him.
do you respect him when you know that he's leading you to? He tricked him. He basically said, go here, work for me a couple years, 7 years, matter of fact. Work for me 7 years and I give you, the woman of your choice. And then turn around and give him the one because of tradition. Now that's another sign of staying in tradition and staying in what you feel, because the oldest one. You're supposed to go with the oldest daughter. She marries first.
Right.
Well, he didn't want the oldest one. He wanted the younger one. So when you get to those places, though, how do you find a balance? What can you think of that would be a good balance to get people to understand it's okay as a senior to respect the younger people and accept their differences. And it's okay for younger people to learn from those differences.
Right.
What can we do to kind of get that balance?
I think a good starting point is starting from the fact that you love one another. So let's just break it down to basics. We love one another. Know that I'm not going to do anything to intentionally hurt you. And I don't believe you're going to do anything to intentionally hurt me. Let's start from there and then take baby steps. So if I'm the young person and I'm trying to present something new to the elder, we just take it one step at a time. I don't want to throw them completely into social media, for example, when they're just used to a typewriter.
And I believe it's just reintroducing them to doing things differently. I understand what you were taught and what you lived by, but everything that you were taught isn't correct.
That's right.
And it's just presenting it to them in a gentle way.
Yeah.
Love.
That's love. That's right.
Love will
what
break
else?
that mold.
On both sides, patience.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to have
You
patience.
got to have patience.
I have been at work and I've seen some of my people who are a little senior, and I've seen people get so angry and frustrated because they're not moving quick enough, because they can't think fast enough, because why didn't you think to do that? That's common sense. You old enough, you should know how to do this. Or you old enough, you should know how to do that. Why do I have to show you how to do this? And you don't have the patience to say, okay, well, when you get a little bit older, your things change. We have to learn to understand the change that some of our seasoned ladies and gentlemen are going through. They're going through changes, and we have to understand that. In the same manner, we need some of our seasoned to understand the younger side.
If I may, I know when I was taking care of my dad, initially it was a struggle for me. I would pick him up for like doctor's appointment. He'll come walking out slow. Like, Daddy, if you don't get in the car,
Like, come on, we gotta go.
and then he gets in the car and like, I'm like, does it take all of that, Daddy? But I had to put a smile on my face because this is him, and I find myself when I get in the car, But I, like you said, I had to be patient with my dad. I just had to, and then the Lord was just in my ear. Like, love your dad. You only get one dad. You only get one. But it's just, like you said, patience. And have a desire, and I also just to add, like, engagement. Going back to the question you were asking, like, our youth or even those who are a little bit younger, engage more activities, like he said.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like go over to their home and
Yes.
just do something small, like clean their yard or something like
Yeah.
that. If you're going to church, bless them with a little surprise.
Yeah.
You know, with a card or a gift, just to let them know
Those
that
small
you're
acts of
valuable.
kindness, that's right.
Yes. You know.
And you know what it puts me in the mind of? It puts me in the mind of Matthew 7:12. It says, therefore all things, whatever you should do unto others, do unto those what you would want them to do unto you.
That's
And
right.
it's something like in the world says, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And we have to be mindful of those things, okay? How would I want someone to treat me if this was me? Being mindful, like we spoke of a little earlier, we going to get old one
That's
day.
right.
Yes, and I
That's
think
right.
that's what's missed.
Yeah.
A lot of people miss that there's going to come a time
That's right.
when you're going to be in that seat,
Yes.
and you're going to want
Ooh,
somebody to have
Jesus.
patience with you.
That's
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
You're going to want somebody to have the time, want to take the time to help take care of you.
That's right.
And we got to understand, in the midst of those changes, the emotional state. Because my grandmother, she went through an emotional state that we did not understand initially because she couldn't do for herself like she used to be able to.
Yeah.
She couldn't get up and just go and take
Yeah.
a shower
Yeah.
or just get up and cook for the house like she used to. And so she used to get so angry, and she used to lash out at us or say certain things to us. And we had to get to a place to understand that grandmama's not being mean.
Yeah.
And at the
Yeah.
time,
Right.
you don't understand it.
Yeah.
But what about the people who are not your relatives? It's probably easier to say, okay, well, that's grandma. I'm gonna accept how grandma is. So that's Pop Pop. You know, Pop Pop, that's how he is. He's stuck in his ways. You know, and I'm gonna tell y'all, this is my little thing. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can if
You
they're
sure
willing to
can.
learn.
Yes.
If they're willing to
If
learn.
they're willing to learn.
Yes.
If they're not
Right.
willing to learn, then they're going to stay stuck in that way. And in this day and age, we do have to have a mindset of growth and
Yes.
change,
Yeah.
because there's
Yes.
things that's evolving and changing constantly. And even though God doesn't change his word or who he is, we still have to learn how to interact with
We
each
do.
other.
We do.
Yeah.
And I think love
Very important.
is very important.
Very
So
important.
I think what are some of your experiences in trying to understand? And some of you work with some of our seniors. When you're working with it, how do you understand the differences that they're going through? They're changing. How do you understand that? How can we get people to see that they're just not being mean, or they're just not,
Right.
you know, not answering your question?
burden,
Maybe
or-
they just can't
yeah.
think as quickly.
Yeah.
How do we get people to understand that?
A lot of mine started from when I was taking care of my mother, and she suffered from dementia. And dementia is an ugly illness,
Yes, it is.
and it'll do little things that will make you have to think. So, for example, I remember I was telling LaTanya this earlier, the first time that my mother actually forgot who I was, forgot that I was her daughter. In the moment, I still have to talk with her and take care of her or whatever is needed at that time. But after that time period left, after I convinced her who I was and everything, I broke down.
Yeah.
I broke
Yeah.
down. It's very hurtful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to realize she's not doing this on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't
This
take
is
it
the illness
personally.
that,
Yeah.
right, you
Yeah.
know, can't take it personally. This is the illness that's doing that. So the more I understand about her, the more she'll be receptive to whatever new things I might bring to her to help her life be better.
Yeah.
I know I'm sorry. My mom just turned 76 years old, and I'm learning more about her by spending more time with her. I have to talk to my mom every week.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't talk to her every week, I got to talk to her every week. And I noticed that I want to be more involved with her with different things that she likes to do. Like, she likes to have parties at our house, and we call them the Golden Girls. And I had my godson son with me at the time, and she had to like get together, and he was like, "There's so many old people." I was like, I know. But it was so much fun,
That's
you know.
funny.
So I like to get involved with her with different activities that she likes to do.
Yeah.
And I'm learning more about even though she's my mom, but I'm learning more of her. And I noticed different things that she doesn't process like she used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
she
don't move as
doesn't. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
different, you know. Again, yes, processing things a little bit differently now. But I just want her to know that I'm there for her.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
And
and
just
yeah.
set an example.
And that's really big because for me, I'm very observant. I write down everything. Everything that we talk about, like with my consumers, I write down everything. I don't care what it is. I'm very observant from phone call to phone call. I reference my notes just to see if there's any mental changes, because mental changes can turn around in an instant. 1 minute they're okay, the next minute they're not. So for me, visiting my consumers, I go out and visit them. I'm very interactive with them, and what they want and their desires is very important to me. It's about what you want and what you want to do. That's very, very important to me. So I need you to express to me so I can implement in this in your plan of care of what you want to do. Not sitting in the house, being in the dark all day. But if you're one of these people that want to be outside and just being in the community or doing different things, this is something that I want to be done. I want to know what you want to do. So I believe them having a voice at an older age is very important, because they're not senile, they're not crazy. They just want you to listen to it. And I know that a good minister, and we're all ministers at heart, listens. Listen to what they have to say. They can teach you some things, because they blow my mind every day.
And it's key. I think listening is a key thing. I think that's another thing that goes along with patience.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't listen.
That's right.
They just like, just give her that and just have her go ahead and sit down and eat. But what if that's hurting her stomach? What if it's giving her some kind of issue and she's not
Kellie,
eating it
that's
because, you know what I'm saying? How do we listen to find out? And that's what it's not just about you.
Right.
And that's on both sides.
That's right.
It's not just about you. And this is the thing that God wants us to have relationship with each other.
Yes, he does.
And that's what's most important.
That's right.
Out of all the rules and stuff like that and the commandments and stuff that he has in his word, the key thing is relationship. When you don't have the patience, when you don't have the ear to listen, you start to break that relationship. And then you start to look at the person as less than and don't want to be bothered with. And that's on both sides. And I think it's important, especially the word says on here, it says the silver-haired head is a crown of glory. If it is given, if it is found in the way of righteousness. So of course, if you're found in the way of righteousness, it's a crown of glory. And the reason that it's a crown of glory is because you got to that place. The gray hair is a significant meaning for wisdom. It's something that you earn. It's something that you get. It's something that you should appreciate.
That's awesome.
So when we say to our seniors, what can we do to help them? What do you notice that they need? From a perspective, if we're sitting here with a group of young people, and I say young people because you figure 30 and 35 and even down, these are the generation where we need to teach them and show them, our millennials, what does it mean to respect your elder? What does it mean to care for them? What do they need? You know what I mean? What do you notice that they need? You know, when you're writing that down, share some of that. What do you think that is that they need? Like, do they need for you, like you said they need you to listen. Well, I remember at an event that I think it was at one of your events, there was a lady there, and she was talking about how she would just get in and she would take her mom places, and she would just go all of these different things so she can see, because she can't do that anymore.
Right, that's right.
You know, what do they want? I think that's what's most important. What do you think they want?
And you know, one of the greatest things that came out of the relationship with my mother as she aged is my mom liked to dance. Now, God bless her soul, she lived to be just 3 weeks shy of her 94th birthday.
Praise God.
And there's a local family who we always get together with, the Harpers, we love so much. They always throw something that's a family-oriented something. And a good song came on. And you would see Mom, you know, nodding her head. Now, mind you, this is a lady with dementia and all of that, but and I just said, you know, Mom, if you want to dance, come on, let's dance. So she got out with her walker, and she sure did. And she did it. And everybody loved it. But I was so thrilled for her because you're doing something that maybe you were ashamed of doing before, or no one encouraged before, whatever the case may be, and you're enjoying yourself. So I was so happy for her. I have that over
And it's so funny because I remember one time a few years back, my mom was taking care of my grandmom. And she had her walker, so she would use her walker to go in and, you know, to do her traveling through the house. And I thought it was hysterical because it made me remember when you were talking about your mom dancing. And she went in her room, and she had just got showered and had her pajamas on, and she had her walker on the side. Her door was cracked. We looked through that door, and she had what was it? It was that whatever song it was, I can't remember now. She was holding on to the bed. Her she was going.
I I know that's right.
A video, and I don't know what happened to the video, but it was hilarious.
Yes,
and then she said, well, Grandma, what you doing? Why are you looking at me? But she was having
That
a
is
ball.
nice.
And this is the thing we got to realize. They're still people.
Yeah, still people.
Yes.
They still
right.
have feelings.
Yes.
That's
So
right.
the other thing is, how do you deal with it when people don't regard that and they say things? Because sometimes people will say things like, I heard somebody say one time, oh, I don't know what's wrong with her. She got dementia real bad. She didn't age well at all in front of her. How do you think that makes you feel? Like, you have to be so careful because they have feelings and that hurts their feelings. And you don't know how that internalizes.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what are some things
How
that we
that
can do
affects
to
them.
encourage them where they are?
Outside of conversation and just being real, absolutely needing to have that conversation.
Got it. The heart.
And
of
if
the
that had
conversation.
happened, with my mother or anybody else who I've been taking care of, I'd have to say something to them at that point.
Yeah.
Please remember to be respectful to the elderly.
Yeah.
Okay, you're absolutely right. She doesn't know what she said, or she doesn't remember you, but please remember to be respectful.
Yeah.
And being mindful that the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Yes.
Stop
That's
it.
right.
Rewilding these
That's
people,
right.
correcting them. Correction is needed.
It is.
It's
Yes,
needed
it
in
is.
this day and time. It's needed throughout life. And we have to be okay with correcting
Yes,
someone that
we
we don't
do.
know.
You know what? I think we got to get back to the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's where the disconnect is too. People don't read the word
Implement
Yeah.
this.
and they don't implement it.
Yeah.
They go to church and they sit down, they get emotional because they like a song. They clap their hands and then they go home and say, "Ooh, that was good. I enjoyed that." But you don't take it home with you.
Yes.
Your relationship is not
application.
established when you're in the church.
Right.
Right.
Your relationship is established when you are home and you're going through, or when you're reading your word and you're learning who God is and how He operates, and understanding
ma'am.
that the stories that are in the Bible is Him teaching you
Yes.
what we're supposed to do. The book of Proverbs, we've been doing the Proverbs 31 challenge this month for the book of for the 31 days in January. The book of Proverbs is teaching you how to treat people.
Yeah.
Yes.
It teaches you that there's at least 3 scriptures I got here from Proverbs alone. The book of Proverbs teaches you. Now, we get it that, just to make it clear, it's a father talking to his son. So Solomon is talking to his son. So a lot of it is from a male perspective. So they call wisdom a female. But it's basically just you understanding what wisdom is and you understanding who she is. But you can relate, just like we would talk in our manner as women. He's talking to his son and he's talking to them from the perspective of a man. But wisdom, and in using wisdom, you have to listen to our elders.
Yeah.
The other scripture is the glory of young men is their strength.
Yeah.
And the splendor of old men is their gray hair.
Yes.
Why? Because you might have the strength to pick up that chair, but I got the wisdom to say, use your knees and bend down.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
the wisdom to say, don't sit it over there because this is going to happen if it's going to fall off. And this is where we have to understand it is so much value in having that relationship with both sides understanding each other. It is so important that we listen to each other, have that respect. Allow the young people know they're not going to do things right. But how do you know that? Because you've been there.
And it might not necessarily not be right. It's just different.
Yeah.
Right.
It's different from what you're used to.
Yeah.
So give them an opportunity just to show you that I'm not saying you're wrong. This is just a little bit better than how you used to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So
And
there's, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And many of our youth need to, as you indicated, when it comes to the word, they have to remember what the word says about taking care of. Because I was looking at 1 Timothy chapter 5, verses 3 to 8. It talks about when there's widows and they have children and grandchildren, it's our responsibility to take care of them. Because if you don't, that's being disobedient to the Lord, because that's what He says in His word. So we have to learn how to be obedient, have a desire to love, be an example, sow a seed, because it is our responsibility to do so.
Yes, and you know what it comes to is Ruth and Naomi.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get ready to close out. But Ruth and Naomi had a relationship. Ruth
They
wasn't
did.
going to leave Naomi because Naomi was senior. But because of Naomi's wisdom,
Yeah.
Ruth was able to get her a new man. Ruth was able to continue on. So let's think about that and just remember, you're not always right. Whether you're seasoned or whether you're younger, you're not always right. However, we have to make sure that we respect each other, that we listen and develop a relationship and a love. Get back to God's word. Read Proverbs that teaches you how to have a relationship. Matter of fact, dig in your word and search out for scriptures that will teach you how to have a relationship in respecting our elders. So we see value in our elders, and we encourage all of you to have value for our elders, to show that. And we now are going to get ready to close out. And we're going to have a song selection by inspirational artist Lavonne Nichols.
Awesome.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here,